Hi guys, my name's Todd Habercorn. Let's see, some of the roles that I have done would be Fiora Prochinesa from Bakuna, Tajima from Big Wind Up, Rocky from Claymore, Alan Walker from D Great Man, Christopher Sabat, line producer, and all that good stuff. Let's see, Naru from Ghost Hunt, Ichimokurin, going alphabetically, I'll get right there. From Hellgirl, let's see, Nijima and Kenichi, Hikaru from Keroro from Sergeant Frog, which is a lot of fun, Death the Kid from Soul Eater,
and that Tower of Jiraga thing, what was that?
Tower of Jiraga, and then, which it was based on the video game, and then Watanuki from Holic. Yes, that's hello. Hi. So yes, voiceover, and then of course video games and movies, and most of the movies are bad, so you don't want to watch them. I don't mean bad like badass or like rated R. I mean like bad, like fall asleep, like oh lord, oh this movie's still on bad. Things like that, commercials.
I was a lawyer in one of your movies. That was a lawyer.
You were the highlight of that movie.
I was a lawyer.
It was a lawyer. It was very nice. She's the only lawyer, if you watch the film, in the background, she's the only lawyer that has her own headshot on her bookshelf. So, yeah.
So I guess this panel is about how we all got started. So you started first, before any of us.
I got a bit of a head start. I started with Funimation in 1998, when a lot of you were born. And at the time, I had gotten a call or a text message from a friend of mine who I was friends with in college, and she was one of 4 people who worked up at Funimation. Her name was Carly Hunter, and she was a buddy of mine in college, sort of. I knew her through her husband or something like that, and we ended up, I always used to joke with her because her job was to paint out all the panties and stuff in the original Dragon Ball. And I always told her, I kept going, please, give me the footage, give me the footage. She never would, but she told me, hey, they're having these auditions at Funimation for voices, and you do that kind of stuff, right? I'm like, okay, yeah. So I left astronomy class at the University of North Texas, and I went up and auditioned for them, and about a month later, I got a call that I was cast as Yamcha and Igor in this little tiny movie called Sleeping Princess and Devil's Castle. It was a Dragon Ball movie. And it was really crude. I think we were recorded with like cassette tapes and a toaster and a microwave all connected together. It was the most janky recording setup you've ever seen. And then a few weeks later, I got a call from the producer, Barry Watson. He said, hey, we're thinking about doing these voices down here instead of up in Canada. So I'm just curious if you're interested in kind of helping us out, doing some of the casting, some voice stuff for us. I'm like, heck yeah, how much does it pay? Less than you've ever made in your life? Well, hell yeah, I'm interested. So I came out to work at Funimation, working full-time. I was a full-time employee there, making nothing, like minimum wage, but I was the only guy that had a deep voice. I was the only actor. So anytime a character would come up with a deep voice, and it wouldn't fit one of the 11 people that were on the cast list at the time, I ended up getting another voice. Barry would be like, yeah, you do that one. How about you do another voice? Hey, that guy's big, you do him. So, and at the time, none of us really knew that Dragon Ball Z was even gonna be that much of a success. No, I didn't know that it was gonna be a huge show. We just kind of knew that some people liked it. There were all these posters all over the walls of these characters with real spiky hair, and they're blonde. I'm like, which one's that one? And they're like, oh, that's Goku. Oh, which one's that one then? Oh, that's Goku as well. Oh, okay, well, which one's that one? That's okay, that one's Goku? No, that's Gohan. No, okay, that one's Gohan. No, that's Goten. But they all look the same, and they sound exactly
well, that's Trunks.
But anyway, the years passed, and we worked on Dragon Ball, and we got this one show called Blue Gender, which was the first, time we ever did anything that wasn't Dragon Ball. And that's where she comes in. And then we'll just kind of go in chronological order, and I'll come back later.
Well, because you come back a lot later. like every 5 minutes there. But yeah, so I was in a play with Cynthia Krantz, who played Chi-Chi on Dragon Ball Z at the time that this show comes up, Blue Gender comes up, and we're in the show together. We've been friends for a while now. And I'm like literally at home in my sweats, like drinking, like putting the Oreo in the milk till the bubbles come out of it. Have any of you ever done that? Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I'm like eating these Oreos. I get this call from Cynthia and she's like, hey, my friend Chris Abbott wants to know if you can come up and read for this new show, because they need low-voiced actresses. And I'm like, well, I mean, and I have like the black between all of my teeth, I'm in sweats. And I'm like, well, no, I can't come to an audition right now. And she's like, it's a voiceover audition. Like, they don't care. Brush your teeth, get in your car, come up here. So I did, and I was really, really, really nervous. Chris can tell you that. I always get nervous. I still get nervous now. And I get nervous every time. Like, every time I'm like, I don't understand. There's 3 beefs, and what do we do on the floor? I still don't get it. But it's okay. I'm slow. But I went in and I read for the part of AMKE on Blue Gender, and that was the first role I had, and I worked with my first director to work with was Chris. And the cool thing about working with Chris is you can suck really bad and he still makes you feel good. Like he's like, yeah, that was good, except for just exactly like that, but totally different. But you still feel good about yourself. So, and I learned a lot from him, and I worked on that show. The next show I worked on after that was, I was Mikura on Yu Hakusho. I did a little bit of Baba on Dragon Ball Z and was fired and then replaced.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I didn't know what I was doing.
It went back to the person that had it.
It went back to the person that had it before. And then the next role after that.
Because I didn't know she had it.
And then the next role after that he directed me in was Fruits Baskets.
Justin Cook.
Yeah, that was the next role I had.
Justin.
That was the first before of this. And that was in what? I guess that was 10 years ago. That AMKE came in. Blue Gender came in 2 years after you were doing Dragon Ball, or 1 year after.
It's all a big blur. Do
it was
you remember
either
when Fruits
90.
Basket came out? Just a little bit before that.
Yeah. But we still only had like 20 actors at the time.
Yeah.
About 20 people were there. So it was really weird.
Well, there was, and I'm sorry, we'll eventually get to Todd, because Todd's story is like Todd had to work harder, I think, than other people to actually do, to get to where he is at Funimation, because by the time Todd came into Funimation, there were like 300-400 people on the cast list. So in order to get as many roles as Todd's got, you have to be pretty damn good, so...
Thanks, Seven.
Hey, look, we're both in the same boat. Things have blown up since then, since Fruits Basket. Fruits Basket was an interesting time for Funimation, because we had all these shows like Dragon Ball and Yu Yu Hakusho, which were these big, goofy, kind of larger-than-life type shows, and then everything took this shift to more realistic type shows. And it,
With Blue Gender and Fruits Basket.
yeah, Blue Gender and Fruits Basket, and then things started, then they got a bunch of shows that were really serious. Blah, 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 blah. I'm just rambling. Okay, let's go on.
So they were, this is the golden age of Funimation, I guess. And this was still when you were in the building, the Kokenhauer building off of Roof Snow, right? Was that the first location?
Holiday Lane.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the first. Okay, so that's how I was teaching full time. I had gotten out of college, and I was doing. Remember those bad movies I talked about? I was doing those, and because they were paying the bills, and I was traveling and making bad movies, and I needed something that was a little more steady. So I said, well, I'll teach. I'll use my theater degree, and I'll go teach for a little bit. Well, I was teaching, but here's the funny thing about teaching. The principal doesn't like it when you use up all your sick days the first 10 days of school. So typically what happens is, when that happens, you're not well liked on the staff. So because I had to go do the Barney gig. I don't know if some of you have seen the Mr. Knickerbocker thing that pops up occasionally and you try to mock me with it. But I did that gig, and it required me to leave school and do and when you leave school, kids forget, it's like Lord of the Flies. They get all, cannibalism happens, and they lose control in the classroom. So I came back, and it just wasn't working. I was doing my thing, but I was very stressed out, because when I wasn't teaching, I was on set filming all night, and then I'd wake up, and the darndest thing, school starts so early every day. It's crazy. So I was going there, and the kids weren't getting the best version of me. I wasn't getting the best version from them because I wasn't there. And so I got a call from Funimation to do a tiny role in Peach Girl. I did a very small role in Peach Girl. We can watch all 26 episodes, and I bet you I can find it, but I don't know it off the top of my head. And and then I went and did, for Tyler, I did Black Cat, and I did with a bowl haircut. And I guess I got the role because I used to have a bowl haircut. As being an Asian child, you must go through that process of having a bowl haircut. And so I did that. And then I didn't hear from anyone for a while. And